it's a real privilege to be here this evening and to see all your lovely faces. Thank you very much to Prayers One for the invitation to share this evening. I'd like to start with, you may have already read it in the chat, but with a vision that I had in 2012 while I was at a prayer meeting in Brisbane. And in that particular vision, I saw a very bleak picture. I saw one scrawny looking woman rise up out of the sea on a very scrawny looking mountain. It was only wide enough for her to stand on. And it looked black and white. It was very bleak. And this woman on this mountain road just came up out of the sea. And as I was watching that particular picture, I saw another woman rise up out of the very similar picture, and another one, till there was about 8 of them. And the whole vision was very grey, was quite bleak. But at one point within that vision, one woman reached out to another woman in friendship. And when that particular woman responded, their arms became elongated and they were able to reach each other over quite some distance. As soon as their hands touched each other, the vision became vibrant and colourful. And it was a very bright picture after that. So the other woman also started to link arms and to link hands, and they were doing it out of friendship. Their arms crossed each other and it formed a net. And the net went all the way down to the ocean floor, and it caught a huge harvest of silverfish. I understood that to be a picture of end times. It's a marine picture, I guess, which is kind of suitable for the Pacific. But I understood in the dream, in the vision, what I understood is that as I waited on the Lord about it, and what I felt the Holy Spirit was saying, what was happening, what I saw were women that were in silo. So they were leaders, but they were in silo. So they were just trying to do everything themselves. But when they linked up, when they linked hands out of friendship, it became a relational network, a relational leadership network of kingdom-minded women. I began to see, that was in 2012 and in January. And in October of that same year, we ran a conference called Arise Shine. So Arise Shine was a women's conference to encourage and to empower and equip women to do whatever it is that God had called them to do. From that particular conference, and subsequent conferences. So we've done conferences around the Pacific, in America, in Denmark. We've been up to the Arctic Circle, in Greenland, and then other places. That first particular conference and subsequent conferences, I saw this vision being outworked. And as I'd worked with different leaders many of the leaders that were involved were passionate for God, but they weren't pastors, and they weren't working full-time for the church. Many of them were working within just working their normal jobs, but a lot of them had leadership responsibilities. What I began to see is that the heart of friendship and the heart of love that could only come from God was the motivation and the glue that kept the network together. So there's no membership fee or anything. It's a very highly relational. But because of the friendship, when one leader was doing something, the others would support. That was in 2012. Since that time, within our conferences, we ran other things. Then we started to run discipleship classes. We did a number of different things, but I just want to highlight that without the ministry of the Holy Spirit, if it wasn't for the Spirit of the Lord and a heart of intimacy and to please God, the network wouldn't be as strong as it was, and it wouldn't be, and it wouldn't exist today, I don't believe, the way that it does. It's actually, by the grace of God, it's become a very, I would say, a successful and a useful network. So some of our young leaders that were, we also mentored some of these young women. We ran discipleship classes. Some of them now have become professors in university. One has become a judge. Another is a social entrepreneur that advises government and rights policy for youth justice. They're in all different types of spheres, arts and entertainment. When we were in Brisbane and we did the first conference, the word that the Lord gave to me, actually it was a prophetic word given to me, and it really witnessed to me that God was going to use this movement of women, similar to how he used Mary, and that the Holy Spirit overshadowed Mary. She became impregnated and she gave birth to the word of the Lord. And from that time, in everything that we've done, we've tried our best to put on events, whatever it is that the Lord wants, but keeping intimacy and worship at the center of everything we do, because that's what attracts the Holy Spirit, the humility and the unity. And we've found that as the Holy Spirit has not only come and overshadowed one woman, he's often overshadowed the whole room. The number of ministries that we saw come out of the first conference. We focused on the sphere of business. So that was something that we had a guest speaker speak about. And we also made room for any woman who had a business that wanted to set up a stall or whatever that was used for kingdom purposes. After that particular conference, 15 new businesses started. As far as there were multiple new conferences that started all over the Pacific. Women had come from Vanuatu and gone back and started conferences. They started conferences in Tonga, in Fiji, and other places. They formed in Brisbane the Pacific Women's Alliance, made up all of professionals, and they still meet today. It's just amazing what the Lord has done. But I would put it all down to simply keeping him at the center of everything and prayer. And one of the things that I did, I think some people appreciate it, some people didn't appreciate it. But part of my strategy is that every meeting was really a prayer meeting with a little bit of business at the end. Because I found that if the more we prayed, the more the Holy Spirit came and the more powerful the manifestation and the ministry. I found that the more we talked about business, it wasn't producing the same life and the life of the Spirit that we needed. So the other thing that we did is we began to collaborate with younger women and intentionally disciple younger women. So I was the founding president in 2012, and in 2016, I'm just watching, I'll finish with this. I can just see the time has gone. The Lord told me to delegate the leadership of the association to the next generation. So I gave the presidency to the presidency and national leadership for Tonga and New Zealand and the Cook Islands to the next generation. And they've taken it, supporting them and trusting them to make their own mistakes and their own successes we've seen fruit, like just wonderful fruit. But if our generation kept it, if we tried to do everything ourselves, we wouldn't see the fruit that we've seen by collaborating and letting the next generation take the helm. So I'll finish there. I realize I've gone over time. Sorry.